Today, we're diving into Jay Sullivan's book, Simply Said, to pull out one single powerful idea that could honestly change the way you communicate forever. You know that feeling, right? It's one of the most frustrating things. You're trying to make a point, you're explaining something you think is really important, and you just get nothing. Blank stares. It feels like you're talking into a void. Well, it turns out there's a really deep-seated reason for this, and it has almost nothing to do with how smart your ideas are. So, what is it? What's the biggest thing getting in our way when we try to connect with people? Well, according to the book, it's something baked right into our DNA. Now hold on, this isn't a knock on anybody. This isn't about being selfish or a bad person. Jay Sullivan makes it really clear that this is just a fundamental human trait. It's a survival instinct, you know? It's what helps us get through the day, look out for ourselves, and get our needs met. But while it's great for survival, it causes a huge problem somewhere else. And this right here is the core of the issue. Our natural, default setting is to talk from our point of view and to listen through our own filters. We're thinking about what we want to say, and we hear what other people say through the lens of our own life, our own problems, and that right there creates this massive gap between what we mean and what they actually understand. Okay, so if being self-focused is the disease, what's the cure? The book lays out this beautifully simple but totally profound shift in your mindset. It's a new golden rule just for communication. That's it. So simple, right? But it is an absolute game changer when you put it into practice. This is the key to closing that gap we were talking about. It's about flipping the script entirely from what do I want to say to what do they need to hear, and from what's my brilliant response going to be to, wait, what are they really trying to tell me? Let's see how this actually plays out. All right, first up, let's look at how this golden rule totally changes the way we talk and get our ideas across. This example just says it all, doesn't it? That self-focused statement on the left, it's all about trying to sound smart, covering all the angles. But as the book says, by the time you're done with a sentence like that, your listener has completely checked out. The other focused version, though, it's simple, it's direct, it's clear, it respects the other person's brain power and their time. The goal isn't to impress them, it's to make sure they get it. And these are the classic traps we all fall into when we're stuck in that me-focused mode. We use big words or insider jargon that just pushes people away. We just dump all the information we have because it's what we think is important, not what they need. And that last one is so crucial. The book points out that if your message is so complicated that the person you're talking to can't turn around and easily explain it to someone else, your message is basically dead on arrival. Okay, so that's speaking. But the golden rule is just as powerful, maybe even more powerful, when you apply it to the other half of communication, listening. Oh, I love this example. It is so good. A self-focused question, the closed-ended one, is really just looking for a yes or no. It shuts the door. You're basically saying, can we move on now? But an other-focused, open-ended question, that blows the door wide open. It hands the microphone to them. It assumes there's more to the story and invites them to share their world. That's how you find out what's really going on. So the book breaks it down into this amazing practical toolkit. To be a great other-focused listener, just try these 3 things. 1, take notes. It forces your brain to pay attention, and it sends a powerful signal to the other person that what they're saying matters. 2, paraphrase. Just saying something like, okay, so if I'm getting this right, is incredible. It shows you're trying to understand and lets them correct you if you're wrong. And 3, my favorite. Before you jump in with your own opinion, just ask for more. Wow, that's interesting. Tell me more. That one little phrase can turn a potential argument into a real conversation. So when you start putting all of this together, speaking to be understood, listening to understand, this simple shift from me to them isn't just a tactic. It really does become your communication superpower. And this is really the bottom line. This is why it all matters so much. Research that's cited in the book found that being a good listener was the #1 most important skill for a strong leader. And why is that? Because when you consistently make other people feel heard, feel seen, feel understood, you're doing way more than just swapping information. You are building the 2 most valuable things in any relationship, personal or professional: trust and respect. In the end, being a great communicator isn't about having the best words or the cleverest arguments. It's about being the most focused on the other person in the conversation. That's the whole idea. So in your very next chat, whether it's at work, at home, with a friend, just ask yourself this one question: who am I focusing on? Try flipping that switch and just see what happens.